Stop chasing me! Help! Also, why am I not moving?
Everyone watching this video has had the exact same dreams before, whether it's the feeling of falling, becoming a superhero, or dating your crush. But for some reason, I specifically have a lot of dreams, like almost every night. And as you all know, there's not a lot that goes on inside my brain during the day, but this all changes the moment I fall asleep. Because for whatever reason, I've had some crazy dreams in my life, some really cool, and some really embarrassing. So let's talk about the most wild, unhinged dreams I've ever had. But just so you know, I'm leaving the most embarrassing one for last. And let's just say what happened in that last dream ruined my relationship with someone forever. Now this first dream absolutely traumatized me, but not for the reason you would expect. Because I had a dream where I got put back in 4th grade. So I'm just sitting there in class with a bunch of 10-year-olds, or however old 4th graders are, except I was still my current age and current size.
But Tyler, why would you being in 4th grade again traumatize you?
Is it because 4th graders are still smarter than you, even though you're literally 23 now? No, but this dream traumatized me because it ended with getting chased by a SWAT team. So imagine this. I walk into an elementary school classroom and everyone else is a normal 4th grader. Little kids, tiny desks, animal posters on the wall, that classic elementary school carpet with the alphabet on it. And then there's me, fully grown, adult-sized, way too big for all the furniture, just walking in and sitting down at one of those tiny desks like this is completely normal. My knees were hitting the bottom of the desk. My arms barely fit on the surface. I had to hunch over because I was blocking other kids' views. I looked absolutely ridiculous. But here's the part that made it so uncomfortable. Nobody thought it was weird. The teacher didn't say anything to me. The other kids didn't say anything. Nobody acknowledged that there was a fully grown adult sitting in a 4th grade classroom. They all just went about their day normally. But I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. I kept looking around, waiting for someone to notice. But nope, everyone was focused on learning multiplication or whatever you learn in 4th grade. Then the teacher starts teaching, and it's basic math. I'm talking 4 plus 7 type problems.
Actually, what is 4 plus 7? Never mind.
But I'm sitting there absolutely cooking the rest of the class. 3 times 9, 27. Meanwhile, all these other kids have to use their fingers to get the answers. But just as I was starting to think, maybe I really am a 4th grader, I thought the nightmare was over. But then out of nowhere, the teacher looks at me, like actually makes eye contact with me for the very first time, and she says,
Tyler, why are you in this class? You're way too old to be here.
Before this moment, it was like no one was aware of me. Sure, they knew I was there, but none of them seemed conscious until now. So when the teacher asked why I was in this class, I was like, girl, I was wondering the same thing. But before I could even say anything, she picks up her phone and calls the police. Like a serial killer just broke into her home and she was reporting them. I heard her say,
Yes, we have a situation. There's an adult in the 4th grade classroom. Send help immediately.
So I'm sitting there like,
Wait, hold on. I didn't do anything wrong.
but within seconds, I hear sirens, then helicopter propellers, then footsteps in the hallway. And then, bam, the door burst open. And it wasn't just a regular cop, it was a full SWAT team. Tactical gear, shields, helmets, bulletproof vests, all to capture this dude. One of the officers pointed at me and yelled, "That's him!" Then everyone in class turned and looked at me. And it was at this moment where every kid became conscious and aware that there was an adult in a 4th grade class. So they all started screaming. And for some reason, the only thing I could think to do in this moment was just start running. I literally jumped through the class windows to the outdoors and started running. And the SWAT team starts chasing me. I could hear radios going off behind me. Someone yelled, "Suspect is fleeing." I heard dogs barking. I ran out of the building and into the streets. I was going through neighborhoods, jumping over fences, cutting through backyards. Full action movie sequence. It felt like having 5 stars on GTA. Eventually, I ran into a dead-end alley with nowhere to go. So I turned around and saw officers blocking the exit. I was completely so I accepted my fate and put my hands up. This was it. But right as the officer came sprinting after me, ready to catch me, I woke up. Now you could say I was the villain in this scenario, but everyone has envisioned themselves being a superhero before. It's just what you do growing up. And one time, I had a dream where I woke up, well, I thought I woke up fully convinced I was Batman. I literally looked in the mirror and in the reflection, I saw a man with a mask and makeup. This was my life now. I fully accepted it. No questions asked. And naturally, the first thing you do when you find out you're Batman is try to fly. Now, the only problem is, in the movies, Batman cannot fly. He uses gadgets like grappling hooks and the Batmobile to catch air sometimes, but he himself does not have the ability to fly. I guess my brain knew this, but me in the dream me didn't care about any of that at all. Dream me had fully convinced himself that Batman could fly, and I was about to prove it. So I climbed to the top of the Empire State Building. I stood on the edge, and I'm looking down over the whole city, ready to protect it. As every person in this scenario would do, I say to myself, "I'm Batman," and then I go for it. I jump. So I'm falling and falling and falling, and I get about halfway down before I realize, oh wait, I can't fly. So now I start freaking out, thinking I'm about to hit the ground at 500 miles per hour with my arms flailing, legs kicking, just screaming while I watch the ground get closer and closer. And right before before I hit the pavement, I woke up. My heart is racing in real life. I'm sweating, fully convinced for a solid 10 seconds that I, Bruce Wayne, almost just fell to my death. But then I realized it was a dream, calmed down, and thought,
Oh, thank God it wasn't real.
and you would have thought that was where the story ended, right? But no, because I closed my eyes and once again, I'm back to being Batman. But never in my life have I been able to re-enter a dream until this day. So I just figured, oh, this must actually be real. I don't know if I joined the multiverse to get in here or what, but somehow I was back, still fully convinced I was Batman. But this time I wasn't trying to fly. This time I learned my lesson. But when I spawned in for the second time, the Joker was with me. He was standing in this warehouse across from me and I walked over to him ready for the big confrontation. This was my moment, the moment where Batman shows his ability and defeats the Joker. So I slowly walked over to him, expecting for him to give me a monologue, you know, like every villain does. I thought he was gonna explain to me his evil plan, give me time to think of a clever comeback, maybe do that classic villain thing where they reveal too much information and accidentally tell me how to stop them. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. Cause I go up to him and right as I'm about to speak, he just starts punching me in the face. No warning, no dialogue, just assault. And I tried to fight back. I really did, but my arms were moving like I was underwater. You know that dream thing where you try to punch someone but your fists are going in slow motion and they have zero power behind them? That was happening to me. So I'm throwing these weak, pathetic punches that aren't connecting at all, and he's just absolutely cooking me. I'm getting hit in the face, the ribs, the stomach, and I can feel it too. It hurts. He hit me so many times I started crying. Have you ever seen Batman cry in these movies? Didn't think so. I was about to pass out right there in the dream, but right before I lost consciousness, I woke up again in real life with tears in my eyes. Not my proudest moment. I feel like if there was any chance of me playing Batman in the future, I just lost it with that story.
What am I talking about? I never had a chance of playing Batman anyway.
Now here's the thing about dreams that nobody talks about. They don't just stay in your head. Sometimes they leak out into real life. And that's when things get truly horrifying. Because I'm a person who talks in their sleep. Like pretty much every night. I shared bunk beds with my brother growing up and he told me every night I'd be having full-on conversations with myself at 3 a.m. And usually it's just harmless stuff. I'll be mumbling random words, then out of the blue go,
Cheeseburgers.
and then I go back to silent sleeping. No big deal. But one night, one cursed night, I had a dream that was so intense, so vivid, that when I woke up, all my friends couldn't believe what just happened. Because while I was sleeping during a sleepover with my friends, I randomly woke up in the middle of the night. But when I opened my eyes, I saw all 4 of my friends surrounding me, just staring. I thought one of 2 things must have happened here. Number 1, I peed the bed and they were disgusted and never wanted to be friends again. Or number 2, they were pulling a prank on me since I fell asleep first. So I checked my fingers and toes to make sure none of them were chopped off, and then I checked to make sure my pants weren't wet. And when I finished all those checks, I asked them,
Guys, what's going on? Why are you recording me? What did I do?
and one of my friends goes,
Dude, you were sleep talking. But like not normally. You need to watch this video I recorded of it.
so they showed me the footage, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I sounded fully possessed. I was having a full-blown heated argument with someone who didn't exist in my sleep, and I was locked in. I was gesturing with my hands, raising my voice. I was debating like my life depended on it, except none of it made sense. At one point in the video they showed me, I sat up from my bed with my eyes still closed, fully asleep. I pointed at nothing and then yelled,
That's not how marshmallows work!
Then I went completely silent for like 10 seconds, just staring straight ahead with my eyes closed before mumbling something about sandwiches and then lying back down. My friends told me I did this for 20 minutes straight. 20 minutes of me having the biggest debate of my life with an invisible opponent. They told me at one point I said,
Something bad is about to happen.
and then I immediately followed that up with,
But if you toast the bread first, it'll all be okay.
and the crazy part was I had no memory of this dream. I don't know what I was arguing about. I don't know who I was arguing with. I don't know why toast was involved. The thing I can't stand about dreams is that there's always something holding you back. No matter what the situation is, your brain decides to nerf you for no reason. It's like you're playing in hardcore mode every time you dream. You ever been inside a dream where everyone is screaming at you, calling you chopped, short, dumb?
Actually, that kind of just sounds like my comment section.
But what I was saying is, have you ever been in a dream like this, but you don't have the ability to speak back? You can't even defend yourself. You just gotta take the diss. That's the thing about dreams. There are no rules. So if something doesn't make sense inside the dream, oh well, it doesn't have to. And trust me, this next dream made absolutely no sense at all, and it still haunts me to this day. Now, when you hear it, you're gonna think,
Tyler, that's not scary at all.
you just have to really put yourself in my shoes to understand my perspective, okay? So I had a dream. I feel like Martin Luther King when I say that. I had a dream Okay, what was I talking about? Oh, I had a dream where I was being chased. I didn't know why. I didn't know where I was. I just knew that I had to run, and I had to run fast because something bad would happen if I got caught. Here was the problem though. I was moving in slow motion. You know that nightmare thing when you try to sprint, but your legs feel like they're made of cement, and no matter how hard you push, you barely move? That was me. So I'm trying so hard to run. Like I'm pumping my arms, pushing off the ground with everything I have. I'm leaning forward trying to gain momentum, but I'm moving at the speed of a sloth with a sprained ankle trying to go through peanut butter. And you're all gonna say, Tyler,
We've all had this dream before, but what makes yours so special?
well, the whole time I was running, I could hear footsteps behind me, getting closer and closer, steadily gaining on me. And I can see the silhouette of who was chasing behind me. But the weird part is, on their head was a bow that kept bouncing up and down as they were running. At first, I couldn't tell who it was. All I could see was the bow, a pink, sparkly bow. I tried to look back to see who was chasing me, but every time I turned my head, I'd slow down even more. It was like the dream had rules, and one of the rules was, if you look back, you lose speed. So I'm stuck running forward in slow motion while this bow gets closer and closer. Eventually, I worked up the courage to actually turn around and see who it was. And guess who I saw? Jojo Siwa. Full ponytail, big bow on, full sparkly outfit, just casually chasing me through the woods in my dream like it was a normal afternoon activity for her. And she's got this big smile on her face. And you would think I would be relieved to see that it's not a serial killer or anything like that. But no, somehow this made it more creepy because she wasn't even running aggressively. She wasn't sprinting or chasing me with any urgency. She was just there, effortlessly gliding toward me while I'm out here fighting for my life. I tried everything to escape her. I turned corners, she was still there. I'd hide behind things, she'd find me immediately. I even tried running into a building and going out the back exit. But when I got outside, she was somehow already there waiting for me. It was like she had teleportation abilities, or she knew exactly where I was going before I did. Low-key, I feel like Jojo Siwa does have teleportation abilities in real life. But it was almost as if she was in my head. Well, I guess she was technically. At one point, I tried to reason with her. I stopped running, turned around and said, "What do you want from me?" She did not respond. She just kept gliding towards me with a smile on her face, not saying a word. Just existing in the most terrifying way possible. So I started running again. Then finally, I tripped on something and she catches up to me and she's towering over me. Gotta be at least 10 feet tall. And right before she did whatever she was about to do, I sprung up from my bed back to reality. So Jojo, if you're watching this, no hate, but now every time I see that bow on your head, it gives me PTSD. What am I kidding? Jojo Siwa is not watching this video. But the image of those bows bouncing toward me in slow motion will stick with me forever. That's the weird thing about dreams. You almost never seem to get the climax of them. And this applies to both bad and good dreams. When you don't want to wake up because you're married to Megan Fox, you wake up right before the dream gets good. And when you're in a dream where, well, you're falling off a skyscraper, right before you hit the ground, you wake up. It's almost like our brain doesn't want us to get too happy or too scared. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. Your brain will definitely let you get too scared during a dream. And I can prove it because one time I had a dream I can still picture perfectly right now. The worst dreams are the ones you don't even realize you're in. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The dreams where you're going about your day completely normal. Everything feels accurate. The sounds are right. Physics are working correctly. You're fully immersed in what you think is real life. And then you see a toilet and your brain goes,
Oh, I should use this.
and you think,
Yeah, this seems fine. This is definitely a real toilet. I'm definitely actually awake right now. There's no way this is a dream.
and then you use the toilet. And that's when everything turns sideways. Because even though you're sitting on the toilet, you start to feel something warm creep down your leg. What is it? Oh, right, it's pee! Because you weren't actually asleep. Your brain just gaslit you into thinking you were because well, I don't know why actually. That's a good question. Scientists say that everything in this world serves a purpose, right? Trees gives you oxygen, water gives you hydration, LeBron gives you love. But what purpose does peeing in your dream serve? Was it just God's way of saying,
Yo, dog, you really need to clean those bed sheets.
because other than that, I can't think of any good reasoning. But I know exactly why my brain decided to give me this next dream. Because this next dream was literally something I've thought about doing my whole life. It should have been the best dream of my life. But instead, it became a nightmare. Let me set the scene. Suddenly, I wake up and bam, there I am playing in the World Cup final. I'm on the pitch while the game is going on, and I look around and realize,
Oh snap, I'm not watching the final.
I'm playing in it. So my first thought is, this is incredible. But then I realized something horrible. I didn't get any superpowers in this dream. Most dreams, if you're doing something you can't do in real life, your brain gives you a boost. But not this time. I didn't suddenly have the skill level of Messi. No, it was just normal me playing against the best players in the world in a World Cup final in front of 100,000 people. The whistle blew, and immediately, I knew I was was in trouble. The ball came near me, and I tried to control it, but that worked horribly. It bounced off my shin and went out of bounds, and the crowd groans. I tried to defend, but the other team's players just blew past me like I wasn't even there. And it kept getting worse, because every time the ball came to me, I'd lose it immediately. I tried to pass, it'd get intercepted. I tried to shoot, I'd miss the goal by 500 feet. Within 10 minutes, the other team was up 3-0, and all 3 goals were basically my fault. The commentators started personally attacking me. I could hear them through the stadium speakers. One of them literally said,
This is genuinely the worst performance I have ever seen at this level.
the fans started booing me, but not just casual booing, like aggressive booing. Then they started chanting, and I would repeat to you what they were saying, but I don't want this video to get taken down. Eventually, the booing got so bad that I couldn't take it anymore. So I just ran off the field. In the middle of the game, just straight up left. I ran toward the locker room, and the people in the stands are throwing water bottles at me. Anything they had in their hand instantly became a weapon. I made it to the parking lot and collapsed against a wall, crying, while I could still hear the stadium in the background. I've always watched World Cup matches on TV thinking, if I was out there, I feel like I could compete. But let me just tell you, that is the stupidest thing I have ever thought. And trust me, I've thought a lot of stupid things. But have you ever had a dream that you wish you could go back to? Like when you wake up, you almost want to cry just thinking about the fact that your dream wasn't real. And then you try your very hardest to go back into the dream, but it doesn't work. Because that's how this next dream was. And let's just say it involves my sweet Pookie Bear Honey Boo Scrum Diddly Dum Goat, LeBron James. So one day, during a dream, I wake up in my bed and everything feels normal. But then I rolled over and I see that there's another bed in my room and someone's sleeping in it. Who is sleeping in it? LeBron Ramon James. And my brain fully accepted this as normal. There was no moment of confusion. I just thought,
Oh, yeah, LeBron's my roommate now. That's just how it is.
and when you got a roommate like LeBron, you just want to make him happy. So what did I do? I got up and made him breakfast before he woke up. Pancakes, eggs, bacon, toast, orange juice, the full spread. Little did I know, this would be a horrible decision. Because Bron woke up, came into the kitchen, saw the food, and said,
Oh, good looking out, man. Thanks.
so we ate together, had a completely normal conversation, and after we finished eating, he left for his game. It all felt completely natural. But that night, I was sitting on the couch watching his game, and it went bad. The Lakers got crushed. So I knew LeBron would be upset when he got back home. But about an hour later, I hear the door open, and it's LeBron. But immediately, I could tell something was wrong. He didn't say a word. He just walked in, sat down on the couch next to me, and stared at the wall. I gave him a minute, but after a while, I was like,
Yo, you good?
he turns to me, and the look on his face was pure disappointment. Then he goes,
Tyler, we can't be friends anymore.
so I'm like,
Wait, what are you talking about, Pookie?
and he says,
The breakfast you gave me this morning gave me food poisoning. I felt sick the whole game and I played terrible. It's all your fault we lost.
he just shook his head and said,
I can't have you around if you're gonna mess up my career. You gotta leave. Pack your stuff now.
so I started packing in silence, and he just sat there on the couch watching me gather my things. And I'm literally crying like we were going through a divorce. I grabbed my stuff, walked toward the door, and turned around to say something, maybe apologize one more time, but he just looks at me and said,
I never want to see you again.
and when I left, I woke up. But here's the crazy part. Even after I woke up, I still felt bad. I sat up in bed, fully awake, and my first thought was,
I need to find a way to apologize to LeBron.
it took me a solid 10 minutes to remember that none of it was real. LeBron James does not actually know me. Maybe he does. No, he doesn't. But LeBron, if you're watching this, please let me make it up to you. I love you, LeBron. Would you like to be friends in real life? Maybe? No? Okay, stupid question. Sorry.